Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Wednesday evening. Good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to ZiFM Sport. Great show lined up for you. What can you expect? The Zimbabwe Davis Cup team are polishing up their preparations for the important World Group 2 playoff tie against Syria this weekend. And non-playing captain Gwinyai Tongoona has given his assurances that his team are not underestimating their opponents. That is our local feature, and it's one that will excite tennis fans. We also have some international sport for you. We'll have an update from the second one-day international between the Proteas of South Africa and Australia, where Baggy Greens captain Aaron Finch won the toss and opted to bat first at Mangaung Oval in Bloemfontein.
In Around the World in 60, we begin in news from Italy, where 7 Formula One teams have released a critical joint statement saying they strongly object to the FIA reaching a private settlement with Ferrari regarding their 2019 engine. In the United States, Francisco Molinari has admitted his game is still a long way from being where he wants it to be ahead of his title defense at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And in Mexico, Kim Clijsters says she was looking forward to getting more matches under her belt and improving after losing to Britain's Joanna Konta in Montreal.
In the beautiful game, kickoff is on the continent where Rulani Mokoena has surfaced as Chippa United to become the 4th coach at Chippa this season, stepping into the seat vacated by Zimbabwean Norman Mapeza, who resigned on Monday. In England, the FA Cup is front and centre as Frank Lampard hailed the infectious Pedro after Chelsea's win over Liverpool in the 5th round. In Spain, Real Madrid are keeping tabs on Mauricio Pochettino with a view to potentially replacing Zinedine Zidane at the end of the season. And in Germany, Bayern Munich coach Hansi Flick was satisfied with his team's performance after edging Schalke in the DFB Pokal quarterfinals. And in Italy, Coppa Italia semi-final second leg matches between Juventus and AC Milan in Turin and Napoli Inter Milan in Naples have been postponed indefinitely due to the coronavirus outbreak.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Remember, we love to keep it interactive, so send us your messages, your thoughts, your views on our WhatsApp platform, 0731 168 045. The number again is 0731 168 045. You can also follow and interact with at ZiFM Sport on Twitter. Now, news is that the Zimbabwe Davis Cup team are polishing up their preparations for the important World Group 2 playoff tie against Syria this weekend, and non-playing captain Gwinyai Tongoona has given his assurances that his team are not underestimating their opponents. Zimbabwe is supposed to be the away team but are now hosting the tie since Syria could not stage the match because of security concerns in the Middle East. The tie begins on Friday morning and will be concluded by Saturday afternoon at Harare Sports Club. Now, Tongoona says his team is now polishing up their preparations. Let's hear from him.
Today is the third day. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of singles. We've done some doubles today, and the other boys, Taganya and Mefili, were playing singles there. So yeah, we just finishing up our preparations and everything. So far so good. You can't be complacent because there are a lot of players now who might not have ATP rankings, but they are playing a very good level. So we have to see. We didn't get much footage of them on the internet to see them playing or that kind of stuff. But we'll watch them practicing and see how they look. Yeah.
Zimbabwe have retained the same team that represented the country last year in the Davis Cup. The team is made up of Benjamin Locke, Courtney Locke, Takanyi Garanganga, Mehluli Sibanda, as well as Ethan Sibanda. We also had a chat with Benjamin Locke during today's practice session.
Feeling great. Been playing just challenger tournaments this year, so that's been great for my game, and I've had some good success on the tour so far. So I had a really good schedule leading up to here. The last 3 events have been at altitude, so it was no change to the conditions, which was great. Normally it takes a couple of days to get used to the conditions here, so I think the preparations were excellent, and all my practices have been great so far, and I'm feeling fresh, which is the main thing. So we got 2 more practices left before the tie, and I think we'll be ready to go. Oh well, Takani has been focusing on singles. Mostly he's been playing a lot of singles points with Mithuli, and he's been playing very well, and I've been playing singles and doubles, so I've been practicing a lot with my brother on the doubles. I think the doubles is a huge match this weekend because it can be the clincher, so we really want to focus on the doubles, and I'm very confident that we're all playing very well, and we're very well conditioned as a team, and everyone's healthy, which is the main thing. We're very confident. We have to stay relaxed, can't be too uptight for the match, but the main thing is we've put in the preparation, so I think the weekend's going to be a good one.
The team in studio was just casually observing that there are 2 Sibandas and 2 Locks, and Takanyi Garanganga Barry has done very well to be in the team. He's the outlier, isn't he?
Exactly. He's fighting for his life, because clearly you have to be a sibling to be on the team, and he's the outlier. My goodness.
Does that speak, Barry, of the production mill in Zimbabwe, that it's too heavily dependent on families and individual investments rather than clear-cut strategies that are coming through from Tennis Zimbabwe?
I believe so. I believe Tennis Zimbabwe is surviving on the glow of the families and the investment made by families. So you've got families who have courts at home, have parents who are interested in the game, who are keen to see their children progress in the game, and then ensure that their kids play the game at possibly the highest level that they can locally, and they obviously make it onto the Davis Cup team. So I think Tennis Zimbabwe needs a strategy of its own to develop the game.
Pause, just taking a look at the rankings between the 2 countries. Zimbabwe ranked 64th in the world. Syria not too far behind. They're ranked 72, so this could be a lot closer than people anticipate.
Very much so. Very much so. I think we're going to have to we're really going to have to play well here, because I think the Syrian team can't be underestimated. I think they're a useful outfit, and I think it's, as you say, it's going to be a lot closer than we all think.
Okay, let's take a look at the new format for Davis Cup action. Ties were best of 5 matches spread over Friday, Saturday and Sunday. If you remember, every match was best of 5 sets. All told, it could take 15 or even 20 hours to decide a winner, and when one round was over, the competition wouldn't resume for months. This was not, to put it mildly, a TV programmer's dream. Now, the new Davis Cup format, Barry, solves that problem by reducing ties to best of 3 matches with a best of 3 set matches, 2 singles and 1 double. So it's a lot faster, and it means that it takes a shorter time to complete, keeping fans interested, and of course also keeping TV viewers and TV companies interested.
Yeah, for TV viewers, it's an absolute dream, because it happens quickly. It's like T20 cricket, as it were, whereby you are able to watch, see a result by Saturday, know exactly who's going to win it. Coming back to Zimbabwe, it means that we're going to have to be more diligent in terms of how we execute this match against Syria, because best of 3 means we've got no room for error. So I believe
you lose the first one, you are under all sorts of pressure.
All sorts of pressure. So I'm going to agree with Paz and say we're going to have to got some hard work to do. We're going to have to keep our wits about us and make sure that in the singles matches we do the job. The doubles, I'm pretty confident that the Lock brothers can lock that down.
Okay, this is ZiFM. See what you did there, Barry. Lock it down. Will the Lock brothers do that? Courtney and Benjamin in the Davis Cup team. Of course, they are lining up next to the Sibandas, Mehluli and Ethan, and then the outlier Takanyi Garanganga, and of course the non-playing captain Gwinyai Tongona. We certainly wish them the best of luck and the ideal preparations in the lead up to this tie, which will be played this weekend at Harare Sports Club starting on Friday. If you do have time, nip over there with your flag and give our boys the best of support. This is ZiFM Sport on Wednesday. Coming up, we've got a local sports news roundup, hockey, volleyball and football, and then we'll go international with our sports news, and we're going to Mangaun We're not talking politics. We're not talking EFF. We're talking one-day international cricket in Bloemfontein between the Proteas and Australia.
Hi, this is Benjamin Locke. I'm on the Zimbabwe Davis Cup team, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Local sports news roundup, hockey news. Leeds, where Zimbabwe will host the men's and women's Southern African qualifier for the 2021 Hockey Africa Cup of Nations at St. John's College in Harare from the 21st to the 30th of August. The men's and women's teams will face Southern African countries in competition, in which the top two teams in each category will proceed to next year's Cup of Nations final. Hockey Association of Zimbabwe has President Grant Campbell said it was an honor for the country to host such an event. Over to volleyball news, where the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association, ZVA, has named the women's beach volleyball team for the CAVB Beach Volleyball Continental Cup second phase from next Monday to next Saturday at Lido Beach in Uganda. Progress Gasa, Nyengeterai Guyo, Media Mafuta and Viola Muchaona will represent the country at the Continental Beach Volleyball Showpiece. ZVA's Ringisai Mapondera said this was the second round of the Tokyo Olympic qualifiers after clinching silver in the first qualifying event in Mozambique. Wrap it up with football news, where government today started the refurbishment of the National Sports Stadium, put correctly, the Giant National Sports Stadium in Harare, following a series of meetings held yesterday. The Giant facility, together with all other venues, was condemned by the Confederation of African Football, CAF, prompting government to pool resources together to upgrade the stadium. The AFCON qualifying tie between the Warriors and Algeria had been taken away from Zimbabwe and was set to be played on neutral soil, but that ban could be lifted after ZiFM lodged an appeal with CAF.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Right, let's talk cricket. And Australian captain Aaron Finch won the toss and opted to bat first in the second one-day international against the Proteas at the Mangering Oval in Bloemfontein. The Proteas lead the three-match ODI series 1-0 after defeating Australia by 74 runs in Pole on Saturday. Right, let's bring you up to speed. It is drinks. We can tell you Australia, as we said, won the toss, chose to bat 271 all out. That is the latest from there. South Africa in reply are 70 for 1. That's after 17 overs. So the required run rate 6.12, current run rate 4.11. Nothing too serious for South Africa to be worried about. They have lost captain Quinton de Kock. He went, it looks like, where are we, that he went second ball for a duck, and once again his number with Stark. So guys, 271 is not enough.
Yeah, not enough. I think they were probably about 40 or so runs short of what should have been a competitive total. And South Africa will certainly be fancying their chances to get to this one. They now need 200 runs to cross the line and take a 2-0 lead in the series. So Australia with a lot of work to do. What Australia has done well, though, is make sure that South Africa are working for their runs. So 70 after 17 overs. And if you take a look at the strike rates of the two batsmen that are in right now, Malan 70 and Smuts 58.82. So the Australians are going to try and create a bit of scoreboard pressure, keep it nice and tight, and then force the loose shot, or force Malan or Smuts to try and go for the big heave-ho over the top, and hopefully that way force the South African batsmen into some mistakes that may expose the middle and late order.
Pick of the bowlers for South Africa, Ngidi picking up 6 for 58. He was the pick of the bowlers for the Proteas, and it is going to be quite an exciting finish into this second ODI. I must say, I don't know if I would have batted first on this track in Bloemfontein first. I would have maybe said to South Africa, win the toss, put South Africa into bat first, and then chase. But I think Aaron Finch has got that wrong.
Yeah, perhaps, and I think in hindsight also he's looking at it and thinking to himself, perhaps that might have been the right way to go. However, all is not lost, as Mike was pointing out. If they can keep that scoreboard pressure going, South Africa may begin to to get desperate. However, I think that the window for Australia is around whenever they get the fresh man in to make sure that they get an early breakthrough and keep those wickets tumbling at regular intervals, because any sort of partnership that's built up with the latitude of 200 runs that need to be gotten, I think it's very gettable.
Yeah, I also think that maybe Ashton Agar could play another big part in this series. If you just have a look at his bowling figures now, he's bowled 4 overs, none for 12. So there obviously looks to be a little bit of movement in that wicket. Yep. Zampa's bowled 2 overs, none for 11. So it could be Agar and Zampa that could actually turn this game around. But I think, as Mike said, I think Australia were maybe 30 or 40 runs shy.
Yeah, absolutely. The other guy I think is going to be Stark, the man who got rid of Quinton de Kock. He's bowled 3 overs and he's gone for just 5 runs. And the economy right now, he's just giving away 1.66 runs per over. So if Stark is able to keep this going, he's going to be very critical, especially in the death overs. Yeah,
exactly. And exactly what they're going to do. I believe Australia, what they're going to do is they're going to bowl Zampa and Agar to complete their 10 overs each. And then hopefully pick up a few wickets and then keep Stark for the back, and then
Cummins and Stark. I think
Cummins and Stark to wash up the tail.
100%.
ZiFM Stereo is untouchable.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We take off in Italy, where 7 Formula One teams have released a critical joint statement saying that they strongly object to the FIA reaching a private settlement with Ferrari regarding the 2019 engine. The FIA announced last week that they had made a settlement with the famous Italian team after a long-running technical investigation into their power unit, which was the subject of much speculation last season due to Ferrari's straight-line speed. Over to the United States of America, Francesco Molinari has admitted his game is still a long way away from being where he wants it to be ahead of his title defense at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. The former champion golfer of the year produced a stunning final round 64 to claim a 2-shot victory at Bay Hill in last year's contest, although he has suffered a significant dip in form in recent months. Molinari hasn't produced a worldwide top 10 finish since finishing a tied 5th at the Masters last April. And we touch down in Mexico, where Kim Clijsters says she was looking forward to getting more matches under her belt and improving after losing to Britain's Johanna Konta in Monterrey. The Belgian, former world number 1, was playing just her second match since retiring from tennis at the 2012 US Open, and despite showing glimpses of her superb ball striking ability, she could not stop Konta from sealing her first win of the year. Clijsters, who lost to Spain's Gabina Muguruza in her first match since returning to the WTA Tour at the Dubai Duty Free Tennis Championships last month, believes she still has a lot of work to do.
Fan Zone. Get in touch with the team and have your say your way.
Operator.
0731 168 045. That's 0731 168 045 is our WhatsApp line. Get in touch. Let us know what you're thinking and what's on your mind. Joe in Skies says this. He says, no contest. LL Cool J was the man. He's got a question for Paz. He says, Paz, did you ever wear baggy jeans and FUBU?
What's FUBU? Yes, I wore baggy jeans, but what's FUBU?
You don't know FUBU?
What's FUBU?
FUBU was a clothing line in the late 90s, I think it was. Yeah. Early 2000s.
What? Tell me, what were some of their clothes?
Jeans, sweaters, that's it.
Yeah,
and
ugly,
then
ugly stuff.
Yeah,
this
no, okay, I didn't wear those.
Hideous, ugly logo.
Yeah.
And,
I know you guys tease me about K-Way and stuff.
Now, K-Way is a lot better. I'm with you on K-Way over FUBU any day. Any day.
Okay, I never wore FUBU.
All right, guys, your predictions were absolutely wrong.
Oh.
You all went for Liverpool.
I got it correct. I got it 2-0, but to the wrong team. I got the scoreline correct. You can't accuse me of getting the scoreline wrong.
This is Tinotenda Maruma from Njanja Chikomba East, and he says, I'm very happy with the result. My Chelsea wins.
Okay, let's go to Twitter. Ivai Nashe, good evening, has got in touch, and he says, right, from doubters to believers, the project at Liverpool is not about getting all trophies in one season. The project is building a sustainable unit. This season, the Premier League title. Next season, cups. Following season, other silverware. It's about building. Your thoughts on that, Barry?
Yeah. Look, I mean, not to preempt our discussion in the beautiful game, but in truth, as a fan, you want to win everything. as a
Haven't
pundit.
you got too greedy too quickly?
As a pundit, listen, in truth,
No.
Klopp led us to the mountaintop and he showed us the promised land, because winning all those games and being touted as the best team in the world, one then begins to expect that the best team in the world is going to stay in the FA Cup,
what
is
has
going to win the
changed?
Champions
What has
League.
changed?
We're out of the KFA Cup. We're teetering.
Barcelona and Real
Champions
Madrid
League.
are out of their cup competitions.
Fair point, but we're not.
We're not them.
They're not crying out and creating a monumental crisis.
It's not a crisis.
Out of losing a couple of games.
It's not a crisis. It's not a crisis. It's disappointing, but it's not a crisis.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think Liverpool fans have lost a bit of perspective, because I spent a bit of time on social media in the aftermath of the loss versus Chelsea, even the loss versus Watford, and I thought, Liverpool fans, my goodness, guys, have you forgotten where you were? Had anyone offered a Liverpool fan in August, before the season started, and said, guys, okay, let's go to the 4th of March. Liverpool, you're going to have won 26 out of 28 league games. You're going to be 22 points ahead of Manchester City. But on the downside, you're going to have been knocked out of the FA Cup by Chelsea, and you'll be 1-0 behind in the Champions League. You'd have ripped the man's hand off. You'd have not even maybe. You would have ripped the man's hand off, because no one in August would have thought or anticipated Liverpool would be 22 points ahead of Man City. Never. Everyone thought right now Liverpool would be going neck and neck with Man City, or even just trying to keep in touch with Man City. And hopefully win it at the end.
Yeah, and I think that's perhaps where the perspective is being lost, because we've been so, and I'm speaking completely as a fan here, because it's a fan zone. We've blown away the entire league so efficiently that now we've forgotten the fact that, in truth, it's fair dues to lose a football match.
Absolutely.
Because they're one of three results: win, lose, or draw. And we don't have a divine right to win everything.
And I think, pause, for me, like Barry said, not to preempt the discussion a bit later, but just speaking as fans, once I saw the starting lineup yesterday, I knew that Klopp was not placing top priority on the FA Cup. Once he chose some of those youngsters that he tried to blood into the side, I thought to myself, okay, he doesn't want to be blown away. He doesn't want to be blown off the park. He still feels that it's a team good enough to challenge and beat Chelsea, but it's not the best team out there. Likes of Alisson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, not even on the bench.
Left at home.
Yeah, left at home. And yeah, I must say, I was a little bit surprised. I would have thought, being, and I'm talking as a fan now, that having lost to Watford on Saturday, we got beaten by Atletico Madrid in the first leg of the Champions League game. Suddenly you got two losses on the bounce. I would have thought, you know what, FA Cup 5th round, I'd maybe strengthen this team a little bit, because you know what, it's another trophy in the bag. And if we could have gone and got a result at Stamford Bridge, well, let's go and get a result. And you know what, the next round we could be drawn against a side that we could roll over with our youngsters. But I would have just put in a little bit more of power and taken a lot more emphasis onto last night's game. But you know what, we're not reading Klopp's mind. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Okay, Shepherd Zueni on Twitter has come through, and he wants to talk about the donation made by Herentals Football Club, Barry, where Herentals has said that they're going to contribute to the refurbishment and the redevelopment of Barberfield Stadium. And he says, isn't this a way of Herentals trying to curry favor with ZiFM in light of the recent allegations that have been made against the club? What's your take on that, Barry, that the football fraternity is taking dirty money, as it were?
Yeah, look, clear conflict of interest, in my view, on the basis that there is a case that is currently before the footballing courts. And for me, that should disqualify Herentals from making such donations. And I think the football leadership should have the intestinal fortitude
to turn down that money, to say no,
and say,
listen,
we can't take your money
until your name is cleared.
Yeah, we can't take your money. It happened again. Herentals gave money to the under 17, I think it was, the Young Mighty Warriors. Again, that money should have been turned down flat on the basis that there was a pending case. And politely done. Turn it away politely, but at least until you clear your name. And in truth, that conflict of interest for me just leaves a sour taste in one's mouth.
Leaving a sour taste in your mouth. Hopefully, we are not going to do that. Liverpool fans, though, we just might do that. Brace for yourselves because the beautiful game is coming up and we'll be digging deep into Liverpool's third loss in 4 matches. Send us your thoughts on 0731 168 045. Hopefully we'll be able to squeeze in a few of your messages. 0731 168 045. Twitter, follow and interact with at ZiFM Sport.
Alcohol may be hazardous to health if consumed to excess. The operation of machinery or driving after the consumption of alcohol is not advisable. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years.
It's the 2020 Castle Lager Challenge Cup. Who will bring it home? It'll be pure platinum play, FC Platinum, attempting to make it 3 on the trot, taking on Amahlolanyama Highlanders Football Club on Saturday, the 14th of March 2020 at Barberfield Stadium. Come with your friends and rally your team to the Castle Lager Challenge Cup glory. It all comes together with a castle.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. The beating drum. The roaring fans. Take a ride on the wild side with the Africa Report on ZiFM Sport.
All right, let's start in Muzansi, where Rulani Mokoena will astonishingly become the 21st coach on a full-time and interim basis to take over the reins at Chippa United following his appointment this morning. Since 2011, that is a lot of coaches.
Wow.
In about 9 years. Mokoena joins the Chile Boys until the end of the season after making only 1 appearance as Orlando Pirates assistant coach since the arrival of Joseph Zimbabwe. He takes over the reins from Norman Mapeza, who resigned on Monday. Mapeza is said to have filed his resignation letter following a number of misunderstandings over the duties of the technical staff with some of the players. So Norman Mapeza walks, Rulani Mokoena walks in this morning, and this story is developing at a rapid pace because now the sponsor of the Chile Boys, Chippa United, Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, have written to the Chile Boys, and that is from the office of the executive mayor, the highest office in the city, and he had this to say. On behalf of the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, I would like to express our serious concern about the recent resignation of Chippa United Norman Mapeza. Over the past 2 seasons, we have seen the team frequently changing coaches and senior managers. It was Dan Maliselo, Eric Tinkler, Joe Masuta, Clinton Larson, Duran Francis, and now Norman Mapeza, whom we are told decided to resign. What worries us most is the fact that all these changes, all firing of coaches and managers, have been characterized by lack of visionary leadership, a clumsy management style, and an obvious lack of understanding of the business of football. We believe that the style of management is the reason why the team has found itself fighting for relegation every season, including the current season. As the main sponsor of the team and a partner who really has the best interest of the team at heart, we call upon the management of Chippa United to shape up. Our city has invested a lot of ratepayers' money in this team. This team carries the dreams and aspirations of young footballers of our city and province. If things continue like this, we might not be lucky this time to survive the relegation axe. That is from Councillor M.V. Daniels, the acting executive mayor of the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. This story has developed at rapid pace. Norman Mapeza walks, obviously because of interference by management.
Yeah, absolutely, Barry. And anyone who has got even just a single brain cell can see that it's a big loss to Chippa. Yeah. Norman Mapeza went to the ABSA Premiership when Chippa was bottom of the league. They were a few points adrift. He was able to take them even right up the table to about 11th place and was breathing down the necks of teams in mid-table. He did suffer something of a bad patch, in the month of February, where he lost a couple of matches, but he was never really blown off the park.
No.
He was being edged out.
And he was playing big teams as well.
And playing deep, big teams. He was being edged out, and he was being edged out of very difficult venues to go to. Yeah. But he came back, and he was able to steer them 5 points clear of relegation. He leaves them 5 points clear of relegation. So his tenure at Chippa has been an undoubted success, and never has the mayor before written this sort of letter to Chipper, reminding them of their responsibilities around Prince Edward and, of course, the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality who are pumping money into this project. He obviously sees the loss of Norman Mapeza as a big loss to the football club, and one of the reasons why the club may well get relegated, because for me, Rulani is something of a gamble.
Yeah, it's a gamble because it didn't work out for him at Orlando Pirates so much. The results were at best patchy, and now he joins Chipper United. It's not an easy assignment for Rulani Mokoena, pause, but you got to say to yourself that joining a team like this, you're taking a massive risk when they have a huge turnover of coaches like this. Would you have taken the job, pause?
Yeah, I probably would have taken the job, but I like this letter. I think this letter's top drawer, and you know what? I think more of these letters should be written, especially in our own local football.
By sponsors.
Yeah,
because I think it upsets sponsors when a team has as much turbulence as Chipper United has. Same question to you, Mike. Would you have taken the job, given that Rulani Mokoena
No. I think Rulani is too impatient for the limelight, for success, for the big time. He's a young, promising coach, and I think just about a few weeks ago, I think 4 weeks ago, Robert Marawa had the legendary Jomo Sono on his show on YouTube, and one of the things that he fielded, in fact on radio actually, and one of the questions that he fielded to Jomo was around Rulani and what Rulani's next move should be, and Jomo Sono came out and said he's actually at the best place. He's under the sitting of the German coach at
Joseph
Orlando
Zimbar.
Pirates, Joseph Zimbar, very experienced coach. He's coached at the very top in Europe, in the Bundesliga. He's also under the stewardship of the chairman of the Premier Soccer League, Dr. Irvin Khoza. He's at one of South Africa's biggest clubs, if not biggest club traditionally, in Orlando Pirates. He is young, so he's got plenty of time to sit under the teaching of those men from an administrative capacity and also from a footballing capacity and learn and polish up on his craft. But he hasn't decided to do that, and he's taken off to Chipper, where he's hoping to make it a success. But to be honest, even if he steers the team clear of relegation this season, what are the chances that he's going to be there for a full season next time? Because
not a chance.
These guys are unprofessional.
Unprofessional at best. So that story is developing quickly, but what we can confirm is that Mushinu Majuzi, Norman Mapeza, has left Chipper United.
All the rivalry.
Here is Harry Kane for Tottenham. Oh, what a goal! A classic derby goal from Harry Kane. Catch him if you can.
All the stars.
Oh, back heels Liverpool 2 in front. Talk about impudence. Talk about improvisation. Talk about Sadio Mane.
And all the game-changing moments.
And Raheem Sterling rattles it home. And once more, City are in front in a trice.
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
FA Cup results from last night. Billy Sharp scored an extra time winner as Sheffield United, the Blades, squeezed through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup with a 2-1 win over Reading at the Madejski Stadium. Newcastle are into the quarters for the first time since 2006 after winning 3-2 at the Hawthorns. Now, all the focus last night was at Stamford Bridge in West London, where Frank Lampard has hailed the infectious Pedro after Chelsea's 2-0 win over Liverpool in the FA Cup fifth round last night. Pedro has struggled for game time this season, but helped the Blues prevail at Stamford Bridge, where goals from Willian and Ross Barkley saw Lampard's side into the quarterfinals. The Spaniard has made just 12 starts in all competitions this season, but Lampard praised the 32-year-old and said Pedro could be crucial for Chelsea's late run in the campaign. And it's a very interesting one, guys. Before we go to audio, of course, to hear from Lampard, I just want to touch on Pedro. And what a fantastic game he had, Barry, playing between the lines and also playing wide of attack. I mean, he caused all sorts of trouble for the Liverpool midfield and defenders.
He really did, and also he had a bit of a license to move, as you say, between the lines, but he was going across as well. So he was very hard to track down for Liverpool, number one. Number two, he also gave Chelsea something extra. When they won the ball, they could transition very quickly. He had a phenomenal game.
A phenomenal game. Pause, we got our predictions wrong.
What did you all do? What did you all say?
Barry and I went for Liverpool. I went 2-0.
I think I would have
Liverpool by 1.
I probably would have gone Liverpool 2-0.
Yeah, Barry went Liverpool by 1. I got the scoreline correct.
You did.
Wrong team though. It was Chelsea who won, and you can't complain much over the fact that Chelsea won. They deserved that victory.
Yeah, look, I think they came out all guns blazing. I think that they wanted to get through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, I think, more than Liverpool did.
Yeah, they wanted to get through, and of course it means a lot more to them. Now let's hear from Chelsea manager Frank Lampard.
Outstanding tonight in work ethic, and players look up to him because of what he's done here. Always a goal threat. And in terms of the season, parts have been difficult. He was in the team at the start of the season, then got injured, and then got out of the team. But what he's shown, particularly in recent weeks, is a real desire in training to be the best trainer, to look sharp, to be hungry, to be giving advice and giving the younger players around him with his body language a lift. And he can be, without a doubt. If he carries on like tonight, he's an infectious player. When he plays the way he plays, consistent work rate, can always do things with the ball, gives everything for the team. So I agree, he can. It's hard to be comprehensive against Liverpool because they remain in the game because of the team that they are, but I can't ask for any more. Spirit of the performance, work ethic of the performance, the quality. You've got to defend really well to keep a clean sheet against them, because what a team they are. And we did, defended with everything, played well, and deserved to win the game.
Frank Lampard there pointing out that Chelsea deserved to win the game, and they certainly did. That second goal they scored, Ross Barkley, he would have enjoyed that. Former Everton player, wore the blue of Merseyside, now wears the blue of London, and what a corker from the edge of the box.
Absolutely. Look, Liverpool a little bit complicit in it, backing off a little bit too much on him, but he took the space, used it wisely, and pulled the trigger. Even when he had a pass on, he still went for it from just outside the box, and my goodness, Adrian had no chance.
You are not happy, Barry, with Liverpool's approach in this game, the selections made by Jurgen Klopp. You were telling me that you felt that Liverpool could have gone for this game. Chelsea, yes, they won 2-0, but you think that a full-strength Liverpool would have given it a real go?
Yeah, I think a full-strength Liverpool could have certainly given it a good go. We'll never know whether they would have won the match or not, but I think that a full-strength Liverpool would have been a lot more competitive. We saw it in the latter part of the game when the big three were on the field. So for me, I think perhaps Jurgen Klopp, for staying in the competition, the importance of the FA Cup to him, if he had fielded a full-strength side, Liverpool possibly would have still been in the competition.
Bars, 3 losses in 4 matches, 3 losses in the 3 major competitions that Liverpool is playing in. Lost to Atletico Madrid. They, of course, have got a chance to right that wrong next week at Anfield. A loss in the league to Watford, but Liverpool is 22 points clear, knocked out of the FA Cup by Chelsea. Is it a crisis at Anfield?
I don't think it's a crisis. I'm just worried about a little bit of lethargicness coming out of the players, and that they're looking a little bit tired.
Is it the winter break? I mean, maybe not tired, but maybe they lost their rhythm.
Yes,
that winter break that Klopp pushed
point.
For.
That's not a bad point.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few pundits bring that up. I'm glad you have, because everything before the winter break was falling in pleasant places for Liverpool. After the winter break, performances have dipped. We saw it in that West Ham game where Liverpool snuck over the line. And then subsequent to that, of course, Atletico Madrid and so on and so forth. So for me, yes, there might have been a bit of a loss of rhythm, a loss of inertia, a loss of momentum as a result of the winter break. So perhaps it wasn't the blessing that we thought it was.
Okay, I want to read a message that I received earlier from someone on Twitter who was trying to sum up Liverpool, and I'm just going to look for the message here. And he was talking about Liverpool having rhythmic players. Now, you play football, Barry, and perhaps you would understand this, that Liverpool has got rhythmic players that need to get into a certain groove, into a certain rhythm. Once they get there, they're pretty difficult to stop. So you've got guys who, like VVD, once he's in a zone, he's unbeatable. Mo Salah, when he's hot and he's unplayable. Same thing can be said about Sadio Mane as well, and Bobby Firmino, and players of that ilk.
Robbo,
Robbo, etc.
When they can deliver good crosses.
So did this winter break lose Liverpool a bit of momentum and a bit of rhythm.
I can only use an example from last season. I can't remember whether it was one of the yellow and black teams, either Wolves or Watford.
Yeah.
During that game, what they did was they broke the game up and began to feign injury and all sorts. And the breaking up of the game caused Liverpool off their game. So consequently for me, because they're rhythmic players, I believe that winter break wasn't the blessing that we believed it was.
Okay, there's action tonight in the FA Cup. The fifth round continues. Tottenham versus Norwich City at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the City of London. That's an all-Premiership clash. Sheffield Wednesday, they will welcome Manchester City to the City of Steel, and Leicester City entertain Birmingham City in a Midlands derby. It's Leicester versus Birmingham.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful, where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day, where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
Right, Real Madrid are keeping tabs on Mauricio Pochettino with a view to potentially replacing Zinedine Zidane at the end of the season, and are said to have asked to be kept informed about the former Tottenham Hotspur manager's future plans. Pochettino, who led Spurs to a first-ever Champions League final last season, has been out of work since being sacked by the North London club in November. Despite a dismal coming shortly after Spurs were thrashed 7-2 by Bayern Munich, his stock remains high, and the Independent reports that Real Madrid want to keep an open line of dialogue with the Argentine and be made aware of any offers that come his way. Barry, two things here you need to look at. One of them is Zidane's relationship with Florentino Perez, the president of Barcelona. It's a bit of a frosty relationship, number one. And number two, should Real Madrid not put any silverware in the cabinet this season, then certainly there's grounds that he could be on his bicycle.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you've identified those 2 points, because one feeds onto two. I think because of the frosty relationship, Florentino Perez is looking for a reason to get rid of Zinedine Zidane. He loves submissive managers. He's very involved in the club, extremely involved in the club.
But why did you bring him back?
Because at the time, Zinedine Zidane was one of the who could steady the ship. Exactly.
I think after the Lopetegui experiment, and then Solari, and then the disaster of last season where Real Madrid didn't win anything at all, Zinedine Zidane, he knew, was loved by the fans because he had won that Champions League treble, where he had won 3 on the spin, you know, and so they loved him for that, and so it was a good PR move. It hasn't quite worked out, because I believe when Zinedine Zidane won those 3 Champions Leagues with Real Madrid, he had a team and a squad that was at the peak of their powers.
For sure.
You know, and now he's found players who are in decline.
Yeah.
You know, they're still good. Marcelo is still good, but he's no longer the same Marcelo.
The quality is dropped off.
Ramos as well is still decent, but he's not the Ramos that was there 2 seasons ago. So the quality has dropped off, and they've lost Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And so there's a bit of a problem there, and this team needs rejuvenation. And Zidane, in truth, to be honest, for you to be just 1 point of a struggling Barcelona who have had problems on and off the field of play, just speaks volumes of the fact that at Real Madrid, you know, there are also big problems there.
So 100%. If there's no trophy, Zinedine Zidane is gone. Perez will have the reason that he wanted, and he's going to bring in Poch.
Right, action tonight in the Copa del Rey second leg. Mirandas will take on Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad lead 2-1 on aggregate.
Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
Quick update out of Germany. Cup football is so fickle, it can knock you out. Fourth division side, FC Saarbrücken stunned the Bundesliga's Fortuna Düsseldorf after a dramatic sudden death penalty shootout in the quarterfinals of the German Cup. Saarbrücken won 7-6 on penalties after playing out a 1-1 draw. Bayern Munich are into the DFB Pokal semi-finals with an 11th successive season, thanks to a hard-fought 1-0 win at Bundesliga rivals Schalke. Tonight's action in the DFB Pokal, it's quarter-final time, of course. Bayer Leverkusen entertain Union Berlin, and then Eintracht Frankfurt entertain Werder Bremen. Hops give it a jump into Italy, where Coppa Italia semi-final second leg matches between Juventus and AC Milan in Turin and Napoli-Inter Milan in Naples have been postponed indefinitely due to the coronavirus outbreak in Italy. Serie A have announced the game between Juve and Milan had been scheduled to be played in a partially closed Allianz Stadium on Wednesday, with fans from the region of Lombardy, with the epicenter of the outbreak in Italy, banned from attending. The coronavirus continues to affect sport, not just football, but now the fact that it's in Italy, in Europe, and primarily in Italy, is a real struggle.
Of course, there are health concerns, Barry, and those are huge. And I think the governments, of course, are taking precedence. They're taking control of the situation. The footballing fraternity would love to play on. One of the things that will be interesting, Barry, is that when the financial reports are done at the end of the financial year, how much of a hit are teams in Europe going to take in terms of revenue? Because the match day revenue is being affected. These are teams that will make 2, 3, 4, sometimes as much as 7, 8 million on a match day. And so that's going to be a huge chunk out of their pockets if they're forced to play behind closed doors.
That's going to be the major one. But another one that might hit their pockets is the fact that consumption has also gone down. And China being closed means that there's no consumption in the biggest market in the world. And then also, when people are afraid for their health, they spend less. So this could be a big one, and I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see those financial reports when they finally come out. We can't give them to you now. We can't give them to you tomorrow, but we'll certainly give you a show. We've got to go. We'll catch you tomorrow. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manandi, out.